The Chancellor has just delivered his budget to the House, but what does this really mean for you? My name is Androulla Soteri and I'm here with two of the firm's tax partners, Nigel May and Patrick King, to help us make sense of what we have heard. Patrick, what are your thoughts on what we've heard today?
Well, some good, some bad, as ever. On the good side, we have changes to capital gains tax rates. They are reducing the upper rate from 28% to 20%, very welcome, and the current standard rate of capital gains tax, 18%, is being reduced further to 10%, so that's a very good change. We've also seen extensions to the way entrepreneurs relief works to allow people who have what are described as long-term investments in private companies to qualify for entrepreneurs relief or a version of entrepreneurs relief and potentially get £10 million worth of gains at a 10% tax rate. Unlike with entrepreneurs relief, they will not need to be employees. That's the significant change. What we don't know is whether the two reliefs can be combined and you can have both in one company, and we'll have to wait and see on that. On the not so good side, we were hoping that the extra 3% SDLT charge that applies to people, landlords with more than one residential property, would not apply to large investors, people with more than 15 properties. Unfortunately, we've heard today that that's not the case and it will in fact apply. So everyone who has more than one residential property will pay an extra 3% stamp duty land tax from the 1st of April.
Nigel, have you got any thoughts on the proposals announced today?
Well, I thought it was a typical George Osborne budget. A raft of additional anti-avoidance rules have been announced. Two come to mind immediately. Firstly, to do with UK property development activities. There have been ways of getting property development in the UK through non-UK resident developers and basically avoiding tax by that means. That has been stamped upon, and perhaps it's unsurprising that it has been. The other area that has come under attack is a retrospective provision dealing with cash extraction avoidance schemes. So where people have taken money out of companies, typically using employee benefit trusts and the like, and then obtained the benefit of a loan, if you have not suffered tax on that at a personal level before April 2019, you will then. So that's retrospective in effect, and so will be controversial.
Do you have any further thoughts, Patrick?
Yes, more complexity. In this budget we heard about, following on from last year's announcements, a total of 4 new allowances being introduced. There's a £5,000 10% band for savings income, a £1,000 exemption for savings income, a £1,000 exemption for online trading, and a £1,000 property exemption. What on earth are our tax returns going to look like in this new system?
And Nigel, do you have anything further to add?
I think I'd just echo what Patrick said. Osborne in opposition talked about tax simplification, and year on year we've just had more and more complexity ramped up, and really not welcome, because a complex system is more difficult to work with.
Thank you, Nigel and Patrick. No doubt we will have to wait for the finance bill due to be released on the 24th of March so that we can consider the full implications of what we have heard today. You can find a summary of the budget and further information on our website, mcintyrehudson.co.uk.